The first thing I noticed was the dust cloud. Out here on my ranch, miles from the nearest highway, I knew every sound, every car, every neighbor. But this was different, 3 SUVs kicking up dirt as they barreled down my private road. My gut told me something was wrong, and after years as a Navy SEAL, my instincts were rarely wrong. I stepped onto the porch, coffee mug still in hand, and watched as the convoy screeched to a stop at my front gate. Out piled 6 men in mismatched uniforms, cheap tactical vests, dollar store badges, and sunglasses straight out of a gas station rack. Across the side of their vehicles, duct-taped signs read, "HOA Enforcement Police." HOA cops, on a ranch. That was laughable. I didn't even live in an HOA. The leader, a heavy-set man with a red face and a clipboard, shouted through the fence, "This property is in violation of community regulations. We're here to conduct an inspection and seizure." His voice shook with the kind of false authority only an entitled bully could muster. Behind him, his so-called officers strutted around, puffing out their chests like they were on some TV cop drama. I could have laughed. I could have ignored them. But when one of them tried to cut the lock off my gate with bolt cutters, I set my coffee down and decided playtime was over. "Stop right there," I said, my voice calm but firm. They froze for a second, surprised I wasn't panicking. I walked slowly toward the gate, hands visible. "You're trespassing. State your authority." The leader smirked, waving his plastic badge. "HOA Police. You're in violation of fencing codes, livestock management ordinances, and unauthorized structures." He gestured toward my barn and pastures. "We're here to take control of the property until fines are paid." I took a deep breath, forcing myself not to laugh. "Son, this is 40 acres of privately owned ranch land. There's no HOA here. And what you're doing, that's called criminal trespass, impersonating an officer, and attempted theft." That's when one of his goons made the mistake of stepping forward with a hand on his fake holster. My training kicked in. In a flash, I had him disarmed, his toy pistol in the dirt, his wrist pinned against the gate. The other men froze, suddenly unsure if their little roleplay was worth the pain. "You picked the wrong man to raid," I said quietly, locking eyes with the leader. "I'm a former Navy SEAL. I've dealt with pirates, insurgents, and actual warlords. Do you think your little costume show scares me?" The leader's face drained of color, but pride made him double down. You can't touch us. We're HOA law enforcement." I pulled out my phone, dialing the sheriff. "Funny, let's see what the real law says about that." Within 20 minutes, county deputies arrived, lights flashing. The scene was almost comical, the real police standing next to the ragtag HOA cops, whose duct-taped uniforms looked even more pathetic under the sunlight. The deputies immediately recognized the scam. These men had been running an extortion scheme, targeting rural homeowners by pretending to be enforcement officers. They'd gotten away with it in some smaller neighborhoods where people were too intimidated to fight back. But not this time, not on my land. As the fake cops were cuffed and led away, the sheriff turned to me. "Good thing you kept calm. Folks around here are lucky you were the one they tried to mess with." In the days that followed, word spread fast through the community. Neighbors I barely knew stopped by to thank me, telling me how they'd been harassed by similar scams but never knew how to push back. Some had paid fines out of fear. Others had been threatened with bogus property seizures. I realized then that this wasn't just about me, it was about standing up for people who didn't have the training or confidence to fight back. That night, sitting on my porch under the wide Texas sky, I thought about all the times in my military career where I'd fought to protect others. I'd left the battlefield, but maybe I hadn't stopped being a protector. The truth is, entitlement and fake authority only work when people are too scared to question it. These men thought they could intimidate me into compliance. But fear has no power when you meet it with courage, calm, and truth. And that's what I want anyone hearing this story to take away. No matter how convincing someone looks, no matter how loudly they shout, if you know you're in the right, stand firm. Authority isn't about badges or bluster. It's about integrity, courage, and protecting what's yours. Those fake HOA cops thought they were predators. But on that day, they found out they'd wandered into the wrong man's territory. And I made sure they'll never get the chance to pull that stunt again.